Okay. All right, guys. Welcome to our team kitchen table chat. So I have some pretty cool topics that I want to talk about tonight, and they're not like brand new information or anything, but I think it's just coming from a different place now that I'm back to being a student again. So some of you guys may know that I'm going back to school right now to get my master's degree in life coaching. So be totally honest, I wasn't really wanting to take on a new role, like with like a new thing to add onto my plate, but I didn't want to pay my student loans right now, so I figured I'll just go back to school. And it's like it's something that's on my goal board forever, is to have a master's degree. And for some of you guys that know my story, I was actually going to school for my master's degree in public health when I started as a Beachbody coach, and then I took one semester off, when I was pregnant with Mikey, and then I never went back because then my Beachbody business was just really growing and thriving. And I'm like, well, why would I want to go back to school to go sit in an office when this is so fulfilling and paying 10 times more than anything that this master's level maybe career could ever lead to? But I still wanted that stupid piece of paper, so I'm going after it. And the stuff is actually really cool because it also like helps me in Beachbody land, because life coaching is basically what we do as coaches. Like, yes, we help people with their health and fitness goals, but really, like we were talking about before we started recording, Tara was saying how she like went live today and kind of gave people some honest truths, and that's kind of what Beachbody coaching is sometimes too, saying, hey, you're not going to get the results if I keep on seeing you post about going through the drive-through. So anyways, I had a couple topics. I think I actually titled it getting through obstacles and also asking questions that lead to commitment. So first of all, like with obstacles, that's just another word that we can use when we're talking about objections. And one of the books that I was reading, it actually references obstacles as going through a construction zone if you're like driving a car. And so when you're driving a car and you're going through a construction zone, there's like actual obstacles. Like sometimes it could be a police car, or sometimes it could be like what are those cones or whatever, Bob's barriers. And so either you have to slow down, or sometimes you have to come to a complete stop. And that's kind of what happens to us when we're talking to people, whether it's people that are interested in being a challenger, or people that are interested in their business, or people that you're mentoring that are already signed up as a coach and that you're trying to help mentor them to grow and develop their business. So we go through these construction zones, and you sometimes have to slow down. Other times you come to a complete stop, which is frustrating. You guys know how it is when you're on 95 and you're having to come to a complete stop and you have places you want to go. Sometimes you can see it, you can see your exit, and it's like, gosh, I just want to get out of the car and walk. It'll be so much faster. But you have to just wait it out and know that it's going to clear up and you're going to get going eventually. And so one thing that I was thinking, and like, since I'm thinking about the whole school thing, or relating it back to the whole school thing, is like, have you guys ever been like in school where you had to take an exam or a quiz or something, and the teacher told you that you could, that it's open notes. You can have one full page, front and back, anything you wanted to write down, you can take that with you and bring it into the exam. And like, I remember when I was in school, anytime an instructor said that, it's like, oh, good, I don't need to study because I can just write down everything that I need to on my sheet, and I'll have all the information. So there's no need to sit and study and memorize equations and memorize definitions, because you have it all written down right here. So every time that I did that, and I spent like an hour or two going through all the stuff and writing out my notes, by the time I went to the test, I didn't even need to reference my note sheet because I spent so much time making the note sheet that I had already learned and memorized the information. And so I was thinking about that in relation to our business and pre-thinking about what these construction zones are going to be that we're going to go through as coaches when we're talking to people about wanting to sign up in our challenge group or talking to people about the business and that kind of thing. And if you think about what those objections are going to be that you're going to come across, you can already think about what your response is going to be. So like, I know that there's tons of like scripts and tons of like suggested things, but this business is a relationship business and a people business. And I always tell you guys, like, the way that you signed up is probably going to be the same way that your people are going to sign up. So if you were a pain in the butt, then your people are going to be a pain in the butt. So just an FYI on let me figure out how to mute everybody. Hold on. Manage participants. Hold on. Mute all. Okay. All right. So, and that can kind of give you a little bit of some things to think about for how you were introduced to Beachbody and what some of your objections are, because, you know, since like attracts like, a lot of the people that you're going to attract and that you're going to talk to, they are going to have a lot of the similar objections that you had. So that's just a great way for you to kind of just go back in time, whether it was years ago or maybe it was last month, I'm not sure. And just kind of think about what your original hesitations were. And some of us signed up originally to be a challenger, and then it was a totally different thing when you signed up to be a coach. So there could be two different like scenarios that you need to play in your head as to what your objections were. So I don't think she's on the call, but Jenna DeStefano, her and I were friends before Beachbody came into my life. And I remember her and I would talk about fitness related stuff because we were both into fitness before Beachbody. And so then when I became a Beachbody coach, I originally reached out to Jenna and told her all about it and how excited I was and how it was going to be so perfect, because I know that she loves fitness and helping people. And she wasn't interested at all. She was like, no, I'm a gym rat. Thanks, but no thanks. And then somehow I talked her into accepting a sample, a Shakeology sample from me. So I mailed her, snail mail, a chocolate Shakeology packet. And one time I actually did a team call for her where I actually went all the way back in my messenger to find these original messages back and forth between me and Jenna. And so I sent her a Shakeology packet, and then I followed up with her like a week later and was like, hey girl, did you try that Shakeology? What did you think? And she's like, no, it's sitting on my dining room table. And I'm like, all right, well, let me know when you try it. And then, you know, more time went by and I asked her about coaching again. And she's like, no, I asked her about a challenge group. And she's like, oh, I'm a gym rat. I would never work out at home. So it's just funny. I'm not even sure why I started talking about that now. Anyways, that's just interesting info, I guess. But anyways, so when you start to think about what those original things are that you had your hesitations on, I know for me, when I signed up, I was fully on board with the home fitness aspect. I was not on board with Shakeology. And actually, when I talked to Scotty about signing up, he basically said, well, you know, you're going to need Shakeology at least, like, you know, at least get the box of packets so that way you can give them out as samples. And I was like, all right. So I think that I knew when I signed up, all right, I'm going to have to pay this money. And that was before challenge packs existed. So I had to pay $40 plus the full price of, well, the discounted price for Shakeology. And I just kind of assumed that I wasn't going to be a Shakeology drinker, but I was just going to order it and then send out the sample packets, and that was going to be good enough. But then I ended up trying it, of course, and fell in love with it, right away. And still, almost 7 years later, still on Shakeology chocolate regular formula HD. So, so that's, and I can tell you that is one hesitation that I get from a lot of my people is the shakes and, the price objection and things like that. So it's like, because I dealt with it, it seems that a lot of the people I attract have the same issue, whether it's they don't think that they need a shake or it's too expensive of a shake. And for me, I know what it took for me to understand the value. Like, it was learning a little bit, kind of surface level, of the value of the ingredients that are in Shakeology. Like, if you were to send me like the 30-minute Shakeology video, I would have gotten bored of it and moved on. But like the 7-minute video was enough for me to be like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. So it's like the combination of that and relating it to the amount of money I was wasting in other areas like Starbucks and Red Bull and things like that, that I was like, it clicked for me that I can exchange this unhealthy stuff for this healthy thing, and it was the same price. So since I've thought about it and I know that, like, I've created my note sheet for the test. Like, I know that it's something that comes up regularly, and so it's something I'm pretty comfortable with talking to people about and, sharing and explaining the value of Shakeology and how that can fit. And also because I'm a coffee lover, a lot of people that I attract are also coffee lovers that spend $5 or $6 on a latte without even thinking about it. Like, I don't know anybody that goes to Starbucks and even looks at the menu for the price. Like, and even if there was a price increase, nobody would ever flinch. Like, if all of a sudden a pumpkin spice latte this year was $7 instead of $5.85, I don't think that anybody would say anything. Like, it's just the price. That's what it is. So, like, because that's a lot of the people that I attract too, I can use that because I was that person too. So, so that's one of the things that you guys can do, is just to kind of think about what those obstacles are going to be. So that way you can create your note sheet for the quiz, for your midterm exam, and you already have thought about it. And it doesn't mean that you have to have your sheet next to you. It just means that you've intentionally put thought into how you're going to combat these obstacles that you're going to come across. So then the other thing I wanted to share with you guys is something from this book. You guys may have seen my post where I was like, oh, I'm a procrastinator. I was supposed to read this book for a book report, and I started it on Saturday, and it was due on Sunday. And it's, let's see, it's 350 pages. So I got it done though, and I actually did get some pretty cool takeaways. And there was this one section that I really loved. Oh, and the name of this book is called Christian Coaching: Helping Others Turn Potential into Reality. And it goes like so hand in hand with what we do as coaches. So anyways, it goes into talking about like how, as a coach, you are helping people to set realistic goals for themselves, and also like you're trying to help them see their bigger potential that they have, because a lot of people just, they have a smaller vision than maybe what you have or what you see for somebody else. I know a lot of times even we do that to ourselves. Like, we see our ability to achieve as something so small, but then you look at other people and like, you're like, you can conquer the world. And we're like that with our kids too. Like, there's nothing you can't do. You can do anything. And then when it comes to ourselves, we're like, oh, let's not do that program. Let's just stay here in the basics, So that's part of what we do as coaches, is we help inspire and help people to like see that greater vision and to tap into that potential that they do have. And once you get them, to set those goals, which is another thing, like, don't skip that step. Like, you have to, and I'm very wishy-washy with people sometimes, when I'm when I'm asking people like, so what's your goal? What's your 30-day goal? Oh, I want to lose some weight and I want to just, feel better. Sometimes I'll leave it at that. But like if you're really able to dig deeper and ask some more questions and get a more specific goal, kind of like Chalene teaches about the SMART goal, the specific, measurable, actionable, time, and measurable. Yeah, Tanya, but why? Getting them to really nail down that really detailed goal. Once they put that goal out there, it's like a commitment. And getting them to that place of, I'm making a commitment to you. Like, it's just a whole nother level of like skin in the game. So there is this part where the author gave this list of questions to kind of help firm up that commitment with people. And I thought they were all really good questions. So I'm going to read them and I'll post them in the group too. But I thought that they were really good, like to ask your challengers, but even better to ask your coaches that you're maybe mentoring or having one-on-one calls with and stuff. So the first one was, how willing are you to commit now to this plan? The second one is, if you don't feel ready to commit, how does the plan need to change so you will make a commitment? And I really liked that one because it's kind of like, all right, you're telling me you want to lose weight, but you're telling me that you don't want to sign up today. So what do we need to change about this action plan? The third one is, what are you going to do first? Which I also thought was a cool way, because people are always saying like, oh, I want to eat better, I want to lose weight. All right, well, what are you going to do first? So that was a different way to say it. When will you start? When will you have it done? Who will you tell? And that one's just kind of like forcing them to make their commitment public, which if you guys have been following some of the things I've been changing around a little bit, I'm actually having people post on their wall, even for my free groups, saying, hey, I'm taking the free fall clean eating challenge, or hey, I'm in the Police Wives Academy. And it's just when they post, we talked about this on last week's call, when they are the ones that make that post and they are publicly declaring that they're doing this, it's just like a whole different level of commitment. And then the last one, and this one I really love, is on a scale of 1 to 10, what is the likelihood you will do what you have agreed to do? Which that one just seems like a great one to kind of end a one-on-one call with a personally sponsored coach that maybe you're working with. And I know that if I was having a conversation with Scotty and he was telling me things to implement and telling me like, oh, you should start doing live videos and you should be messaging this many people and you should be tracking your conversations. And if he ended our conversation by saying, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's the likelihood that you'll do what we agreed? Then I'm going to be really, really committed by like giving a number on that scale. And it kind of helps you, whether you're talking to a coach or a customer, to really know like what kind of time commitment that you should put into them too. Because like there's like everything has a price, and like this is something that my counselor tells me all the time. Like some things, there's like a price that you have to pay for everything. So some things you're willing to pay the price for it, and some things you're like, nope, that was way too much. It caused me too much hurt. It caused me too much money. It caused me too much time for the outcome. So you are willing to give your time of mentoring somebody, of coaching somebody through a program, having a one-on-one accountability call. So you then get the expectation of this person following through with what you talked about. So I really liked those statements, and I could really see how it can firm up and get people to that yes. Or if it's not a yes, it at least gives you more information on where they're at. You know, like if they're still not even willing to make a different plan, you know, like on the one that says, if you don't feel ready to commit, how does the plan need to change so you will make a commitment? Like that's just very telling. If with that question, they're still not wanting to do anything that you're offering, all right, you know what, maybe I shouldn't be having regular calls with this person. Like maybe they're not where I'm at, like I'm on this train going this direction and they're on this train looking at my train, but not willing to walk over and get on my train. So, so it just kind of helps you gauge where people are at, both, customers and coaches. So that was pretty much what I wanted to share with you guys tonight. I just thought that was pretty cool. I'll post those questions in the group so that you can use those if you want to. But that's pretty much all I had. Did anyone have any questions or comments or anything? Okay. All right. Well, make sure if you didn't try it yet, try out Clean Week. The preview is up on BOD. I did that one today, and I think it'll be a really great program for people that are just getting started. Also, Super Saturday is this weekend, so hopefully you guys are set up to go or either attending or hosting an event. So other than that, that's all I got. So I hope you guys have a great night, a great week.
Jen,
yeah.
Quick question. What happens if you can't make it to Super Saturday? Because apparently our weekend has blown up, and the closest one to us is about an hour away. So is there a way to still watch it or get info or something like that?
Yeah, they usually post it on YouTube like the next day or so.
Okay. I don't like missing them. I just don't know. We have to be in 5 places at one time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have no control over that. So
yeah, you can just watch it on YouTube. Alrighty, guys. See you later.